back again. What are we here for? The same thing, but a different flavor. Sarah is still dead. She's haunting me. If you hear a voice, that is Ghost Sarah. Zach Baggins is on the way. Anyway, more of a book haul, except these are comic books. So we thought we should do a separate video because the people who like normal books might not like comic books. And there's also just a lot. So here we go. Went to the bookstore, found some goodies. Some of these I did order. This is Paul Deeney's Batman Death in the City. As you can see, dope as hell. Haven't read it. Oh, good. It is in color. I wasn't sure. Paul Deeney is the person behind the Arkham games. If you don't know, he wrote them. Also, he came up with Harley Quinn, did a lot of work on the show. So if you like the animated series, I would recommend getting into some of the Paul Deeney comic books because they feel very similar. So, yay. Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, I believe written by Alan Moore. Yes, Alan Moore, who wrote The Watchmen and A Killing Joke and many more things. He's a famous, crazy old man who's pretty dope, actually. This is the companion to Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader by Neil Gaiman. I believe it is different in theme, though. Like, the other one was about, like, death and rebirth, kind of, and this one I haven't read, so I can't tell you, but, you know, I'm a sucker for Superman. I do love Clark Kent. My Kansas boy. I got some floppies. I ordered the Poison Ivy cover of Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giant, which has the infamous Danny DeVito Penguin story that he wrote that has the Penguin and Catwoman in like a loving relationship, which, sure, if that's how you want to remember it, Danny, that's none of my business. But they're like together. They're dating and she's into it.
That's a self-insert hardcore.
Well, yeah, it's Danny DeVito.
I know.
He's a little crazy, but he's cool. I like him. He said that they better cast him in the live-action Hercules or else, and I think that's fine. They better cast him. I got Love is a Battlefield, which is a Valentine's Day special issue. I think it's either mostly about Harley and Poison Ivy or just about them. They're together now in the comics. And this has a really cute story that I saw on TikTok, and I bought it immediately. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I have to have it. Who wrote this? On the floppies, they don't always say the author or the authors, which I don't appreciate, so I don't know who wrote this, unfortunately. They just don't think they have to give them any kind of credit. Next, Challenge of the Super Sons by Peter Tomasi, one of my favorite comic book writers. They ended the series a couple times, but it's very popular, so they keep bringing it back. And I have an omnibus behind me of the complete Super Sons, and then they went and came out with this. They've already had to reprint the Super Sons Omni to add the new one, and if they do it again, I'm not buying it, so I have it in paperback. This is just the adventures of Damian and John, who, if you don't know, are Clark and Bruce's sons, and they don't get along, but they're best friends, and it's really cute, and I love it. So if you have children, this is good for little kids, because it's very innocent. It's all just like kiddie stuff, and it's great for when you don't want to be miserable. When you do want to be miserable. This is the Lazarus Tournament. Damian, feeling guilty over the death of Alfred because he blamed himself, took off. He quit being Robin, and he is off trying to find himself, and he stumbles into this tournament where you fight to the death, but you're affected by that Lazarus pit stuff, so you come back to life, but you have to keep fighting and killing, and the winner, I believe, gets to be the new head of the demon. It was okay. I didn't love it, unfortunately. Joshua Williamson, hit or miss. I believe he was in charge of some of the new Batmans, including that new Joker stuff, which I'm not keen on. But I bought this because I get everything with Damian Wayne because he's my favorite other than Harley. So, anyway. The Midnight Mission, Moon Knight, I believe this is, Jed McKay, I think. This is the reboot of Moon Knight, but it's a continuation, but you can start here if you don't know anything from Secret Avengers, which he is in. His girl left him and took their kid, and he's miserable and alone, and he has to decide to start the Midnight Mission, which is definitely not a cult, but a little bit. And he's, being the Fist of Khonshu killing people. He's almost exclusively Mr. Knight in this comic book, and it's actually very delightful. I adored this. I wouldn't necessarily recommend if you're like a big fan of the show, because the show has a way different tone than the comic. So if you like the show, because it's like fun and light for the most part, you won't find that in the comics. These are super brutal, but I love both the show and the comics. So if you're okay with utter brutality and misery, then the comics will work for you. Here's another one. Legacy. I think a lot of people hated this. I didn't. I really liked it. It's got a lot of Mark Spector's early life and how he got to be where he is, and, you know, just his general sadness. I believe this is the one with the backstory with the rabbi that betrayed him, which I'm not super keen on. A lot of people aren't, so your mileage may vary on that. Do you want to introduce one of these?
No.
House of Slaughter. This is a prequel story for these Something is Killing the Children stories. It's about her, what's her name? I'm not good with names. It's about the main character's cousin, Erica's cousin, Aaron, who, if you read Something's Killing the Children, you know what's up with him in current times. This is when they were kids, and right before Erica left. These are also super brutal. I would categorize this as horror. It has a ton of child death in it, and it shows it graphically on page. They're getting ripped apart by monsters. If you can't handle that, don't even try it, because the pictures don't leave anything to the imagination, and I mean that. So go in knowing. But I do love these. These are really, really good. This is a special cover I got from ordering from a comic book shop. Hold on, I have to sniffle. Yep. Deceased, I think by Tom Taylor. Yeah, Tom Taylor. This is DC with zombies. As you can tell, Batman doesn't do very well. And the Joker's dead before the story even starts, which I personally think is funny. But this is just the DC characters dealing with a zombie outbreak. And there's 2 other books that go along with this, but they're kind of spin-offs, so I don't have them. I'm not going to get them until I read this and I like it. But I've heard really good things about this. Constantine's in it, and his spirit is in that new Sandman show as Joanna Constantine, because they just wrote Joanna Constantine as if she were John Constantine instead of making her a different character. So, you know how it goes. Anyway, issue number 1 of
I like
Robin.
the colors.
This?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is how it's colored inside too. This is issue 1 of Robin and Batman by Jeff Lemire, who is an absolute genius. This is about the early days of Batman and his first Robin, Dick Grayson. These are so sad and wonderful. And there's a lot of Killer Croc stuff in here, actually. So the hardcover just came out. I'm waiting for my copy of all of them. I don't have it yet, but this is absolutely excellent. I love it. And this I haven't read yet. This is Flashpoint Beyond. Jeff Johns wanted to fix what was done wrong in the stupid Tom King run of Batman. He destroyed this character so badly that this man who came up with him decided to come back and fix it. So I think that's funny and amazing. I haven't read these yet. I also, I'm waiting because November 15th, I believe, the whole first trade comes out. And I'm going to get that because I was really devastated with what they did with him in the Tom King run of Batman. So the idea of them fixing it is kind of like really special to me. I'm very excited and nervous. And this is the origin of that character. This is a little piece of Flashpoint, the Barry Allen story where he kind of screws up the entire timeline. But this is, I hate the writer of this, but this is Bruce's dad in a world where Bruce died instead of him and his mother. He is evil Batman, kind of. He has guns and he works with the Penguin and he's not a good guy, and that's the main. I'm so good at this. There's a lot of death and sadness in this. If you like death and sadness, you can't really get this trade paperback anymore. You'd have to get the omnibus of Flashpoint, but that is still available. See, I'm better at saying where you can get comics than what they're about. Anyway, Superman Kryptonite by Darwin Cook and Tim Sale. I bought this from the used bookstore because I really like this writer and this artist. Although Darwin Cook obviously draws a little, I could recognize his art. I don't know what this is about other than Superman, so I can't really tell you. But I read his Batman Ego, and it was really good. Mark Millar's Superman Red Sun. I also don't know what this is about, but I know that they do the Red Sun versions of a lot of characters. I think it's just like if Superman landed in Russia instead of Kansas, which is intriguing. And
is that gonna be kosher?
I don't know. That's the thing. They have Batman, I think, and they have someone else. I think they have do they have Solomon Grundy? I don't know. Someone. But yeah, this is Russian Superman. So he was not raised in Smallville, Kansas. He doesn't land in America. Yeah, so we're going to see. Mark Millar is a little iffy.
It's definitely going to be at least a little off color just because of the America's the best place you can be mentality.
I see, I don't know how it's going to go.
Which I suppose for a traditionally attractive straight white man it is.
That's true. These are like pretty classic though, these Red Sun ones. I haven't heard too much crazy stuff about it, so we're gonna find out eventually. Next up, Secret Avengers. I bought this because Moon Knight's in it. I don't know what it's about. It is what it is. All right, and then lastly, I got, I believe I already included the first one, but I grabbed all three. I got the Dark Heart of the Sith Darth Vader books. Into the Fire and War of the Bounty Hunters.
You're such a fucking nerd. Go ahead.
Should I end it all? Should I find something pointy and shove it in my ear hole? Do you want to say what these are about, you whore?
We're gonna have to cut all of this.
No! Leave it in. Let them see what you do. If you cut it out, you're a gaslighter. Anyway, these are about what Darth Vader is up to between movies. And they're pretty good for the most part, except for this friggin' one, which goes to Exegol.
Okay, you told me about that one.
I was enjoying these. And then I went to Exegol where they have that Snoke soup. And I told Sarah about it, and I was, like, devastated. Because I was like, these were, like, rockin'. And then we got here. And just like, oh my god, we have to tie in this garbage from Rise of Skywalker that all the fanboys jerked off to in the movie theater. And if you don't like it, then you're not a real Star Wars fan. Someone once told me that Star Wars isn't about having a good story, that they're not supposed to have good stories. Someone said that to my face. They said Star Wars isn't supposed to have good stories. And it's like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. And he said I was crazy, and he blocked me on Facebook. And that's fine. But also, I'm not the crazy one. Anyway, those are my comic books. I guess I'm a nerd. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, why? Also, if you want to hit the like button, I think that's supposed to do something. I don't know, really, if I'm being honest. It would be better if you subscribed, I think. Or if you just watch the videos, that's fine too. I don't know if I care.
Goodbye.